This month, as I get ready to retire from 9 News, we've been looking back at some stories from my career, both the happy ones and the sad ones. Well, this one is definitely a sad one. It is from more than 20 years ago when we covered the shooting at Columbine High School.
From Colorado's news leader, this is 9 News at noon.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Gary Shapiro with Kyle Dyer. We're going to suspend with our regular news program today to bring you up to date on an apparent shooting at Columbine High School in Jefferson County.
I remember how the information slowly trickled in and how it kept getting worse.
Okay, we have Erica Wilner standing by right now at Swedish Medical Center, where apparently some of the victims are coming in. Erica?
More news, more bad news. And it was like that for hours.
Main staging area for the police departments that have responded from all over the metropolitan area. We have
I remember when these halls were filled with hate and fear. It was on April 20th, 1999. I remember there was also courage and compassion, and there were heroes. Frank DeAngelis was a hero. He was the principal of Columbine then. Now he helps other principals who are going through what he did, and he gives speeches about how to try and heal from the pain.
Every morning I wake up, when I get out of bed, I recite the names of the 13. And there's not a day that goes by that really made a commitment stating, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do to bring them back, but I can make sure that they did not die in vain.
Surely the past week is about as much suffering as any community can bear.
I remember the memorial service after Columbine, how the community and the nation were in shock. At the time, it was the most deadly school shooting in the country. What happened was unthinkable then. Sadly, it is more common now. I remember several years later when Sean Graves, a student who was severely wounded and spent years in a wheelchair, walked across the stage to get his diploma. It was emotional. It was heroic. It was uplifting.
I was nervous. I was up on stage, and I had it all planned out in my mind, and I've practiced it on my own in my bedroom, standing up from my bed over and over and over, trying to make sure that I had it down pat. I was trying to prove a point that if you put your mind to it, you can achieve anything.
I remember when they built the Columbine Memorial in Clement Park next door to the school to honor and remember the 13. The day of the shooting, I was asked to write an essay to end our 10 o'clock newscast. I wrote, in part, "It's hard learning about life. Life can be cruel even when you're 16. Cruelty can't win out. You've got to fight back. You've got to keep teaching right and wrong. You've got to keep hoping it'll finally sink in. It's what those who never made it out of the school deserve. But it won't be easy. It's hard learning about life. I remember."
I think a lot of people in Colorado remember. They remember where they were when they heard about Columbine, and of course I will never forget because I was sitting right here.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so sad that we're doing this look back at a tragedy on a day where we're suffering another tragedy.
Yeah, and you said you remember where you were. I was only 9, and I remember where I was.
Yeah.
Like, you don't forget something like that.
Yeah.
But so incredible that you went back and talked to that student that you talked to years ago as well.
Yeah, Sean Graves.
Yeah. Wow.
He is something. He's just so inspirational. Yeah. That story, that whole story is. And there are a lot of inspirational stories that came out of Columbine, of course.
Yeah. That yeah, there were. But you know, you said in the story that the state and the nation were shocked.
Yeah.
And now it's almost commonplace.
Yeah.
It's too bad it went that way.
Yeah, isn't that sad?
It is sad.
It is.
Well, coming up at 7:40 over on Channel 20, we're going to catch up more with the former principal of Columbine, Frank DeAngelis. He's going to be in the studio, and we'll talk to Frank. He is still honoring the victims of Columbine to this day through his work, and we'll find out more about that.
Yeah.